and welcome to the recipe for the day from www.kitchennewbie.com. And today we are making
chicken and vegetable casserole and dumplings.
Oh, I do like your dumplings.
I know you do, that's why I make them regularly.
You can get this recipe from www.kitchennewbie.com, where you'll find lots of other recipes, and you can sign up to our newsletter. Why not? We have loads of fun in the kitchen, and this is going to be no exception. So, dumplings.
This dish is probably one of the tastiest, comforting dishes you can make, and it's really literally a couple of quid for 4 people.
That's what I like to hear.
It really is, because you'll need 3 chicken thighs for this, for 4 people, 2 bacon rashers. Now, what I want you to do with your chicken thighs, first of all, is to put them in some warm water with a bit of salt and pepper, a bit of sage, a couple of sage leaves, if you like sage, or a bit of thyme, if you like thyme. And then just bring that to the boil and then let them simmer for about 45-50 minutes. And when they're tender, just take the chicken thighs out of the stock. Keep that, because you're going to use that in your chicken dish. And then put them on a plate, and then when they're a little bit cooler, take all the meat off and cut it into smallish pieces.
The meat should actually fall off, shouldn't it?
It should. After about 50 minutes, it should do, yeah. Discard the skin, because it won't be crispy, it won't be particularly nice, but make sure that the oils that are on the plate go back into your thing, into your pan, and then you can pop that back into the pan.
Yeah.
Now then, in a large saucepan or your lidded wok pan that I use so much for many dishes, from pasta sauces to soup.
A large saucepan's cool.
And making stir fries.
Yeah.
You'll need 1 large onion, a large leek, 2 carrots, medium-sized carrots or a very large one, and a red pepper and a clove of garlic, and you need to chop those up quite finely.
Yeah.
Then put a large knob of butter and a tablespoon of vegetable oil in your saucepan. Let that melt together, and then put all those vegetables in it and spoon all the oil and butter mixture round over the vegetables. Pop a lid on a very low light. Just leave it for 5 or 6 minutes while you get your other stuff ready, whatever you need. Yeah. Now, the rest of the ingredients are very simple. It's literally 50 grams of long grain rice, a litre of chicken stock, which you should have to start with. Yeah. Add another chicken stock if you want to, add a bit more flavour. You'll need a bit of salt and pepper, but check if you're using a stock cube or one of those stock pots, if that's salty enough. More often than not they are, but just check later on when you're cooking your it's not really a casserole, it's like a thick soup.
Yeah.
This. And the dumplings thicken it up as well.
A soup.
And you'll need a tablespoon of parsley or a teaspoon of dried that you'll put in as you're adding your stock. Right, so as your vegetables have got all nice and juicy, and that's the secret is to doing this, it's called sweating your vegetables. I have mentioned it before. What it means is literally you're allowing all the juices to come out of your vegetables and soften them a bit.
The word sweating originally comes, and the same thing's happening. It's the breakdown of the chemicals in the vegetables that sweetens them. So it becomes sweating.
And
but they actually do give off liquid as well.
Of course they do. Well, I suppose that unctuousness comes out with the sweet as a sweetness as well. Because carrots and onions are quite sweet.
Yeah.
So once you've got that going, but it takes about six minutes or so, and then what I tend to do is I stir in my rice and let that cook for a few seconds, and then I pour in the chicken stock. Oh, do you know what I forgot to ask you to do as well? While your vegetables are doing that, add your chopped bacon to your vegetables as well. I nearly forgot the good old bacon, because the bacon adds flavour.
And salt.
And a little bit of seasoning, and adds some protein as well, because let's face it, it's not particularly high on protein.
It's got 3 chicken thighs in it.
It has, and we've got 4 people, but it is keeping the cost down, and it makes a really great autumn dish. Coming on to winter, I feel it's more winter than autumn now.
Yeah.
But it really warms you up, and it's very satisfying. So you add your chicken and your stock that you've cooked before to your bacon and your vegetable mixture, don't forget. And then stir that in. And now you'll need about a litre
of stock.
Of stock, of liquid in it. So, because of the rice and because you're adding your dumplings to it. So, it's often better to put your stock into a jug to measure it anyway. But remember, you've got your chicken in there as well. So, see what it looks like. You might need a little bit more hot water. And then you bring that to a simmer, season as necessary. And then while that's cooking, it'll only take probably about 30 to 40 minutes to simmer gently, because you want all your flavours to meld and your rice to cook slowly but surely. Then you need to sieve 200 grams of self-raising flour into a mixing bowl with about 1/3 teaspoon of salt. They do take a lot of salt, of seasoning, and about 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. That sounds a lot, but it's not. You need quite a bit, as I say, of seasoning in your dumplings, because it's going to go into liquid. Now then, so you've sifted your flour into your bowl, and you need to stir in 100 grams of suet. Now I use vegetarian suet. It gives a lighter dumpling, and I prefer the flavour. And when you're making it with chicken, you don't have that lingering sort of beefy, suety flavour. Do you know what I mean? But if you want to use beef suet, use beef suet. And then you need sufficient cold water to make a soft dough. And it is a little bit sticky.
Yeah.
You want it to be sticky. And mix it. I tend to use
Sticky
it with a
dumplings.
knife or a metal spoon. You want it all to come together. Then use your hands. And then put it onto a lightly floured surface, and then roll it into a log. Then just cut it into however many dumplings you like. I tend to make about 12 to 15 dumplings, 16 dumplings. Depends how big you like. And then just gently roll them up. And while your pan's simmering, after about 40 minutes, just drop them in over the surface of your pan. Once they're all in, make sure they're just under the surface. Pop your lid right on. Then just turn the heat up ever so slightly so it's bubbling quite quickly, but then turn it back down again. Because what happens
It'll
is
cool
it'll
it down,
seal
won't
it.
it? And then it'll lift
So you
it
need
up
that
again,
temperature up, but you need your liquid hot enough to seal up the bottom
outside,
of your dumplings. And then let those cook for about 15 minutes. Now, my pan has got a glass lid on so I can see quite easily. But after about 15 minutes, just take the lid up. Don't take it off beforehand. Leave it for at least 15 minutes. And then check, and your dumplings should have been nicely risen and have probably joined up a little bit around the edges. Don't worry about that, because when you're serving them, they should separate
them,
again.
can't you, easily enough.
But if you've got 3 dumplings per person, you'll find that that's quite a hefty meal.
Yeah.
And remember, you've got a bit of rice in the actual main course as well. So when you're serving it, serve it into hot bowls, and you'll find it won't need much in the way of bread with it, because as I say, it's quite sturdy dish. It's quite satisfying. But it is nice with a few chips. So if you can be bothered cooking a few chips with it, to dunk it. And my mum always used to do that. When we had pea soup or chicken soup or whatever she was doing with dumplings, we'd always have some thick cut chips, not frozen ones.
No,
She used
proper
to put
ones.
them in, do them in
Real
a
ones.
chip pan. I don't even have a chip pan.
No.
If I'm going to make chips, I do it in my wok.
Yeah.
Again, that wonderful wok.
you for listening to the Recipe for the Day podcast. We hope to see you sometime at www.kitchennewbie.com. Kitchen Newbie is a kind of online cookery school which hopes to help people new to cooking, and you will find lots of easy recipes and techniques. So, why not pop down and have a look? We're new, there's lots to do, but we'd love to see you just the same.